He weighed in at 160 pounds. Raised in the disciplines of boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, his record stands at 14 wins, 6 losses, 1 no contest, with 7 knockouts and 5 submissions to his credit. Representing Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and tonight making his anticipated Elite XC debut from Stockton, California, introducing And once again, here's our referee in charge, Steve Mazzagatti.
All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. We want a good, clean, fair fight. You need to obey my commands, protect yourself at all times. Hook them up. Good luck.
Blaisdell Center in Honolulu, Hawaii, awaiting this much-anticipated debut for Nick Diaz. But Iron Mike AINA is hoping to do to Diaz what Appalachian State did to Michigan in the opening weekend of college football. Can he do it? We're about to find out.
And what a big jump in competition for AINA. Anything can happen.
AINA's coming in confident, though.
Nothing to lose.
Diaz's last opponent was Gomi, and he beat him, but AINA said that he feels that he's a harder puncher than Gomi.
He's brought a lot of boxing guys in, a lot of southpaws.
Goes without saying, AINA has to keep this one close. He has to get the advantage inside with the dirty boxing, but with Nick Diaz, easier said than done. Nice shoulder strike by Diaz. Finding his rhythm here early, delivering some knees as the two come apart. It looks like we have a wardrobe malfunction for Mike AINA.
All right. Time, fight.
We can already see his boobies.
I like how Mike AINA goes low then high, body then head. He's really mixing up his levels of strikes.
Good technical boxing skills.
You think the 6-month layoff, the forced hiatus, has hurt Nick Diaz any?
It's too early to tell, really.
Cardio-wise, I'd say absolutely not, because of the triathlons and the Ironman he's been doing. But, you know, and him training at the gym all the time with his brother and everybody else there, I think it's kept him on top of his game. But ring rust, we'll see.
AINA tags him with the right hand. Good job of avoiding Nick Diaz momentarily. Diaz has him pinned along the fence.
Right now, I'm liking AINA in the standing mode. He's giving a lot of angles, really hard to hit, and he's landing, especially to the body.
Let's not forget what Iron Mike AINA has sacrificed to be here tonight, making his Elite XC debut. He's put off his honeymoon, guys. He was married in August, but getting a chance to fight here on Showtime against Nick Diaz. He must have a very understanding bride.
Yeah, apparently. Got the call 7 weeks ago, and he just jumped on it.
And he just tagged Diaz with a right hand.
Diaz is kind of sleepwalking right here.
A somnambulant Nick Diaz.
What?
What he said.
I don't think Quadros can say that.
Knee strike up the middle by Diaz, but you're right. Diaz seems to be very methodical, a little flat-footed, but now trying to pick apart AINA. But AINA doing what he needs to do now, delivering all kinds of bombs at Nick Diaz.
AINA connected with a big right hand, but it didn't even stagger Diaz. We know Diaz can take a shot. We knew that after his fight with Gomi, because Gomi hit him with everything.
Nick Diaz has been involved in some of the more memorable mixed martial arts contests. Diego Sanchez, Karo Parisian, and of course, his last fight against Takanori Gomi in Pride Fighting Championships final show in America. You're saying you'd like to see a rematch between Takanori Gomi and Nick Diaz right here in Elite XC?
Especially here at Elite XC. But I'll tell you what, Diaz has got to get through AINA first.
I think there may be a little bit of machismo. Knowing how good Diaz is on the ground, he seems to want to make a point standing, because realistically, I think he should take this fight to the floor.
Neutralizing AINA's left arm, trying to pepper him with strikes, but look at AINA building confidence, delivering with authority.
That was a slip.
Yeah, Diaz doesn't look phased at all. It looks like he's just being methodical in his attack.
But he's got to be careful. It's about effective striking, and AINA has been able to land periodically here in round one, while it looks like Nick Diaz wants to just get the round under his belt, Stephen.
Yeah, but he landed a couple shots about 10-15 seconds ago. He landed a sneaky left uppercut, and it looks like AINA is fading just a little bit from the pace.
And Bill, you know that Diaz can maintain this pace for 3 rounds after what you just mentioned, finishing third in a triathlon in California. High-level athlete.
And no question, when you have the cardio, you can afford to toy with your opponent at times because you can go the distance.
And really, it's the cardio now, the world-class level of MMA that separates the contenders from the pretenders. And AINA, very game athlete, staying in the pocket with Nick Diaz.
The problem for AINA is that Nick Diaz has such an incredible chin that he may only be getting warmed up right now.
And a very big reach advantage as well. And there, the tie clinch, knee up the middle. But it really just looks like, for Nick Diaz, it was almost a sparring round for him. He wanted to get his feet wet, come back after 6 months, feel out his opponent, and AINA wants to finish in a flurry.
You know, one thing that was said in the fighters' meetings that really surprised me, and since I was not there, what was it, guys? Well, you know, we're talking about the fact that Nick Diaz doesn't want to be the bad guy. He likes everybody in this business pretty much, but you know, from a casual viewer's perspective, every time he's the heel out there.
Well, you even heard the sparse blues for him coming here into Hawaii.
Mike AINA came out on fire in this one, ate some knees, but look, he comes blasting away. And Nick Diaz at first really didn't know what to make of this guy with all this shoulder movement and all these rolls. And later in the round, AINA turning his shoulder to Nick, and he just blasts away. Now watch the feet here. AINA with the knee. It was a little bit of a slip. Nick did throw a punch, but it wasn't a knockdown. AINA blasting away some more, but he's starting to get sloppy at the end of that round. Even though that knee landed, there wasn't a lot on it.
As Bill said, knowing that AINA has nothing to lose, it's really impressive to see him that he's leaving it all into the ring. He's taking the fight to Nick Diaz. Whether or not he's on the same level of Nick Diaz, well, again, time will tell.
That's AINA's game.
Well, one thing we don't want to see from Mike AINA for his own sake is that he already left it in the ring in the first round and doesn't have anything left.
It was Jens Pulver, I think, who said, I'd rather lose by knockout than win a boring decision. Mike AINA lives by that philosophy. Nice body kick by Diaz. And it doesn't appear that Diaz is in any kind of trouble, but just he's going along his business, and another glove problem for Mike AINA.
But there's a slight difference in this round. Diaz is coming forward. Diaz is the stalker.
Now AINA coming back, trying to rattle the cage, and he rocks Nick Diaz. The crowd erupts here in Hawaii.
A clean knockdown for Iron Mike.
And if that's not going to give AINA confidence, I don't know what will. He puts Diaz on his back, and now with this, wake up Nick Diaz and force him to push the pace.
The problem with that, though, is when you have a guy fighting Diaz, he may get over anxious when he sees Diaz in trouble. But Diaz can go a long, long time.
And he can come back and end a fight. AINA's got to be careful of that left knee in the clinch.
I'm very impressed with Iron Mike AINA so far. And according to our information that we've received, Iron Mike AINA won round 1 on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. Interesting stat.
And it looks like he's winning round 2.
Iron Mike is explosive. He kind of crabs up and gets that left shoulder forward, and Nick should take advantage of that and throw a right low kick.
Diaz again eats another right hand, and this, Mike AINA, knowing that, you know, it's the highly anticipated debut of Nick Diaz. He's a fighter. He wants to make a name for himself in Elite XC. No better place to do it than in his home of Hawaii, and right now, he is definitely giving Nick Diaz a run for his money.
One thing that Nick Diaz does, he throws a lot of soft punches to gauge the reaction of his opponent. And then when he sees he doesn't react, he loads up.
I'm very impressed with AINA's power, guys.
And so far, it doesn't look like Diaz is doing enough to exploit his reach advantage.
No, he's not. I think Nick should try and get a Muay Thai clinch. Cup the head and bring that head down into the knee.
Knowing how much of a world-class fighter Diaz is, Bill, do you think AINA's getting into his head a bit, or?
No, I don't. He's been in this position many a time before. It's just a different guy that he's facing.
But Diaz is making an adjustment here. He's definitely trying to get this fight to the floor. And he should.
He has many tools in his toolbox, and you're right. So far in the stand-up, very close affair. Shoulder strike there. AINA doing a good job of restricting his arm. Now Diaz peppering the body with shots, trying to position him for the takedown, it seems, and instead wants to just dirty box with AINA, and AINA responds in kind.
Boy, Diaz is like a fly. He is always on you, doesn't give you any room to breathe.
AINA's got to be real careful of the guillotine.
And Diaz is constant. One thing about Nick Diaz is he's constantly moving, constantly throwing strikes. And while AINA wants to hit the home run, it's Nick Diaz.
Oh, great body shot by AINA.
But yet he's still getting picked apart by Nick Diaz, and that's something we shouldn't sell short. Nick Diaz is scoring with those strikes.
He is, and cardio will be the ultimate test in this contest.
Well, if that's the case, then, we've got to lean towards Diaz here.
Diaz has been cut.
But Iron Mike fires back, and Nick has got to stop that, because Nick has got to know that with that knockdown, he's got to try and steal this round to be competitive in this fight.
Final minute of round two. It's the jab of Nick Diaz, the power shots of Mike AINA. AINA has cut Diaz. He's knocked him down. Looking for the trip takedown was Diaz.
If Diaz just sat down and rolled, he could get him on the floor.
And that's exactly what he does.
But he's only got 30 seconds to deal with.
It's plenty of time for the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizard of Nick Diaz. We've seen it before, Bill. Here, he's got them out, going for the back.
This is not good for AINA.
Will this be enough time? Diaz restricting the airflow. 10 seconds remaining in the round. Is Nick Diaz going to come back in this fight and seal it with a submission? The clock is his own worst enemy right now.
What a beautiful, beautiful 2 rounds.
There we go, baby.
Mike AINA came out on fire again, and he blasted Nick Diaz over and over. And wouldn't you know it, that Nick ended up on the floor via that right hand. AINA really moved in to finish, but he had to know he had Diaz in trouble. Iron Mike has got to know he's got Nick's number right now. He's getting impatient here, but once he gets that shot in, his confidence had to go through the roof. Now Diaz does a simple sit back and roll, because he's been trying to get AINA on the floor all round long, and he finally does with only 30 seconds left. He just sits back, and then he gets side control. Now Nick does some great work here, and he was really working towards that submission.
Iron Mike AINA, born on Christmas Day, is he on the cusp of receiving the biggest gift of his career? He could be 1 round away from upsetting Nick Diaz. But again, how did you score that second round? Because we had Diaz going for the submission at the end. He was knocked down earlier. But we had the strikes, the effective strikes, the peppering shots by Diaz, the power shots of AINA. Very tough, friends.
I'll tell you what, here's where the cardio comes in, man. If Diaz can stay in this, he's going to win the fight.
I think that second round was incredibly hard to score. I might give it to AINA because of the knockdown and because he controlled more of the round time-wise.
What does Diaz have to do a better job of here, knowing only 5 minutes left? What does he have to do to take this fight back?
He needs to get AINA on the floor, bottom line.
Pressure, 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 pressure.
Conversely, for Iron Mike AINA, the upstart here, the Hawaiian, on the verge of maybe the biggest win of his career, what does he have to do to maintain his confidence and not get too emotional, not start the pressure unnecessarily?
Well, he's got to stay out of the clinch, of which he's in right now, and he's got to keep this fight standing. Because standing, all he has to do is move around. He's got such a weird peekaboo style. It's been frustrating Nick in the early part of this fight. But if it goes to the ground, as we saw, Nick was getting close to a submission at the end of round number 2.
I mean, it looks like Nick Diaz isn't even putting a lot behind those shots, but that's his style. He's landing every one of those strikes and scoring.
Well, what he's doing is trying to get Mike to react, and then he's going to counter that reaction.
And it's an annoyance.
It really is. Alexis Arguello, the great featherweight lightweight champion, used to do the same thing. And as soon as he saw an opening, he would crack a hard shot and knock the guy out.
Nice elbow by Diaz. And he followed it up with an uppercut. Now a knee. A minute and a half gone in the final round.
In my eyes, gentlemen, Diaz cannot let this go to the scorecards.
I think Diaz is starting to pick up the pace, but AINA immediately responds. He eats an uppercut.
Bill, I agree with that.
Well, that makes me feel really good, Steven.
Body shots by AINA, and these two are just taking turns, unloading on each other. What a fight in Hawaii!
Wow. Diaz should try and get double underhooks, get his hands locked behind AINA's back, and then take him to the floor.
And AINA's the only true native Hawaiian on the card tonight. What an unbelievable upset it would be for him to win here in his hometown.
Okay, there he
Diaz
goes.
drops down a level, looking for the takedown. Good sprawl by AINA against the fence, trying to drop his weight.
AINA pushing the head down. Beautiful takedown defense there by Iron Mike.
Very impressive takedown defense against Cesar Gracie-trained Nick Diaz.
Don't let him out! Don't let him out!
BJ Penn has to be thrilled with the way this fight is unfolding.
I tell you what, win, lose, or draw, Mike AINA has opened a lot of people's eyes tonight.
And I think secured himself a pretty decent future with Elite XC. A lot of heart, a lot of determination. Nick Diaz making his highly anticipated debut. And really, you guys, what a year it has been in mixed martial arts. The year of the upsets. I know it's cliche, but this one, if it goes the way it may, could be one of the biggest ever.
It could.
Don't jump to it yet, Morrow.
Uh-oh, there he goes.
Takedown by Diaz.
Now, Diaz has a minute 40 to get this thing done, and he's got the toolbox, as you said, Morrow. Plenty of submissions.
Minute and a half left, and there you see him, not wasting any motion. Diaz going for the back.
And as he closed the second round, he's closing the first round on top of AINA.
This is a problem for AINA.
A big problem.
Yeah, Diaz got both the leg hooks in, going for the rear naked choke.
And if you guys take note, Diaz is in his corner, listening to his corner.
And in that corner, of course, is Cesar Gracie and Victor Galdon. And this could spell big trouble for Mike AINA. Again, the clock ticking down, less than a minute remaining in the fight.
I think the question in my mind is, if this fight does go the distance, even though Nick's got back control for the last minute and a half, is that enough to win the round? I'm thinking not.
A very close fight here between Nick Diaz and Mike AINA. It very well could come down to the final 30 seconds. Who is going to emerge victorious? Of course, the Native Hawaiians, they're booing because, well, Mike AINA's in a very precarious position, but you have to let a technician like Diaz paint his masterpiece.
And he do it with 10, 15 seconds left.
Ferocious, heart, determination. Diaz going for the armbar underneath. Is he going to literally pull it out now? What a fight!
Fight's over.
Steven, it goes to the judges again. Mike AINA, regardless of the outcome, definitely incurring a moral victory here tonight in Hawaii, going the distance with Nick Diaz. What were your thoughts on Diaz's first fight in 6 months?
I think Nick Diaz may have taken AINA lightly before this fight. I'm sure he would never admit to that, but AINA stole round 1. Round 2 was real close, and it could have gone to Diaz or it could have gone either way. Round 3, I think AINA won more of the round if you go on only the time, so it's going to be really tough for the judges. Round 2 was one of the most exciting rounds that we've seen. AINA came blasting away with that chopping right hand, and down went Diaz. Nick came roaring back. Boy, were they shooting it out here. But Nick, once he gets that ground control, he started working for that submission. Took his time, but it was a little bit too late to get anything done.
The 10-point must system has come under intense scrutiny in mixed martial arts lately. We're about to find out what it produces in this contest. Let's go back to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I read our score totals, we've seen an outstanding effort by both of these fighters. No matter who the winner is, they both deserve a round of applause. Iron Mike AINA and Nick Diaz. Well, fans, after 3 rounds of action, we have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Richie Kabinian scores about 30-27 in favor of Nick Diaz. Judge at ringside, Mike Onzuka scores about 29-28 in favor of Mike AINA. And judge at ringside, Kyle Takao scores about 29-28 in favor of the winner, Nick Diaz.
Well, the cage attracting boos like a trailer park attracts tornadoes. Steven, really this speaks to the 10-point must system in MMA. I don't necessarily disagree with the result, but your thoughts on a split decision win for Nick Diaz?
It was obvious to me that the 2 judges that scored this for Nick Diaz felt that him being closer to finishing the fight was enough for him to get the victory.
All right, let's get to the victor. Here is Nick Diaz with Bill Goldberg.
Okay, guys, I'm here with both Nick Diaz and Mike AINA. Nick, you get the win. 6-month layoff, man. I know you wanted to get in here and do your thing. What do you think about your victory tonight?
Well, I don't like to make excuses, you know what I mean? Well, no, first off, I can say that everybody here on the island, really tough, you know, everybody. This guy right here, he's so tough, you know. But that's not, you know, the thing for me, too, was I think in my head, you know, was that's what kind of happens, you know, when you don't know about your opponent and who you're fighting. I kind of got in here today and I couldn't really decide how I was going to go about beating this guy. I should have spent most of my energy trying to probably get the clinch and get the takedown. I knew I could probably pick him apart standing up on my feet, though, but I did switch it back and forth, and that's what I was worried about. And I took a shot in there, and I played it safe. You know, I went down to my back. You know, I'm not afraid to being finished or controlled on my back. You know, from the footage I've seen on this guy, I wasn't afraid to take the safe way out. You've seen in my last fight too. You know, I take a shot, I go down, and use my guard to sort of defend. I feel confident I can make it back to my feet. Well, regardless, stay safe while I'm on the ground there. So not to make excuses, you know, today, but I also, you know, I don't like flying for very long like that, and you know, this it was a real dent in my momentum. This break I had.
Hey, man, hey, contrary to popular belief, you're a hell of a class guy, and you came out here and you showed your heart. Mike AINA, jump on over, my friend. The only native on the card. I don't know if he took it lightly, whatever. You said you hit harder than Takanori Gomi. You impressed a lot of people out here. I know you solidified a contract with the Lead XC, and if you didn't, by damn, I'm gonna make sure you did.
Right on, right on. Hey, how about another hand for Nick Diaz, though? Put in an awesome performance, and he's an awesome guy. You know, coming into this fight, I had a lot of I wouldn't say pressure, but you know, a fight in Hawaii, like they said, the only native on the card. and I take a lot of pride of where I'm from. I just wanted to make everyone happy here, you know, be proud of the Hawaiian fighters, and we got some tough guys out here, so hope the world knows that, and I hope I show that here tonight.
And hey, let's give a hand, first of all, for Mike Aina on his marriage. And second of all, let's give a big hand for both of these guys who laid it all on the line and gave you one hell of a fight. Now we got a presentation.